Welcome to Shop Talks. Hi, everybody. Shop Talks is a production of InKitchen.com, which is a free online source of information. I'm from the In Kitchen. I'm Rick Roth, and we have a podcast sponsored by Bella+Canvas, actually, appropriately enough, called Low Bleed. There's a few up there. There'll be more in the coming months. And I want to thank our sponsors, Hanes and Hirsch Solutions, and the Impressions show here for allowing us to do Shop Talks and encouraging us. I have Carissa Richmond with me. She is the National Sales Director for Bella+Canvas, and we're going to talk about customer relations in what's nicely put, turbulent times. Hi, Carissa.
Hi, how are you? We've had a lot of those lately, I think.
Yeah, so you want to maybe talk about your role at Bella+Canvas, and then we'll get into some questions, and then we'll take questions from everybody after that.
Yeah, so my name is Carissa, like Rick mentioned. I've been with Bella+Canvas for almost 8 years. That went by so fast.
Since you were 14 years old?
Not that young, but thank you. And I'm the Director of National Sales, so I manage our national sales team. We have about 10 people on our team. Majority of them are located in LA, and then we have a couple located nationwide. I actually recently just moved to Austin, so I've lived in Texas for 7 months now, which has been a big transition for me coming from LA.
She did have cowboy boots on yesterday.
I would like everyone to
Where's
know
the
that
hat,
I was
though?
actually born in Dallas, so I am a true Texan.
Oh, all right.
Just wanted to make a note of that. A lot of people that I live next to in Austin have definitely called that out, so we had to quickly change our license plate to Texas and get our California license plate taken off. So, but yeah, so I've been with the company for 8 years, and we are located in Los Angeles. That's where we do all of our cutting, all of our dyeing, and then the majority of our sewing is being done in Central America, in Nicaragua. So we have a very strong USA manufacturing approach, and we have an incredible new building actually that we just moved into in Beverly Hills, where we have majority of all of our departments from production, sales, marketing, and we actually share our building space with our retail brand Alo Yoga, which I don't know if you guys knew that we have a sister brand in the retail space. Alo, very huge brand, very well known. But we're really excited about our new headquarters. And if anyone is in the Los Angeles area, we highly recommend that you write into our customer service team to actually get a tour of our cutting facility. It's pretty incredible.
I've been there.
Yes.
Pretty incredible.
You haven't been to our new
I was at the big
place
cutting
in Beverly
place.
Hills, though.
No.
I think it's really special for our customers to actually see what we do on the back end and really understand just how much of the manufacturing we do just right in our backyard in Los Angeles. So definitely reach out to our customer service team. We do tours all the time, and we actually have a showroom that you can also come and see product in person.
All right, so you mentioned customer service. I'm going to get to the hard question right away. So it seems like every distributor, mill, etc., their customers are really stressed out. There's difficult times with inventory, and a lot of people are really angry. And how are you dealing with that? I mean, I talked to one distributor that said they have their customer service people, quitting because people are so mean to them. So what's been your approach with your team to deal with people that are stressed, angry, upset, don't know what's going on?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that just I've learned just as a manager, and really in just one of the most unprecedented times just in our industry, is being transparent with customers, really letting them know just what we're dealing with as a manufacturer, why there might be inventory delays, or why there might be price increases, why we're not hitting ETAs. I think customers appreciate when they actually understand just the full transparency of what's happening on the back end. And it's been a crazy year, actually. I think we've had a lot of customers that have really come to us just trying to understand how they can continue to grow their business during a time when our industry has really changed. A lot of companies have gone out of business, and we've actually talked to a lot of customers that have really thrived during this time. So for us, it's really being a support system for them and really helping them and guide them and educate them on how they can continue to grow their business. But definitely transparency is key. And I think it's a lot easier to be transparent and deliver bad news when you have those strong relationships with your customers. So
it's probably true. So actually, I think that probably a lot of the challenges that you have are true of all the, shirt suppliers. So you want to talk a little bit about that, because I think people need to hear that. Like what's going on that makes it so hard for you to come up with the inventory right now?
Yeah,
I'm sure it's a lot of factors, but what are some of those factors?
I think the biggest thing, there's a global supply chain issue. It's not just in our industry, it's in every industry. So we really try to educate our customers on just where we're seeing the delay. Is it yarn or thread, containers, all of it? I would say all of it. And we get majority of our greige from India. So we are ordering everything from India. We receive it as a greige good and then dye it, cut it in Los Angeles, and then ship it overseas to Nicaragua. So
gray goods is basically non-white
fabric. Greige goods is fabric before it undergoes the dyeing process.
Right.
And so we're, of course, seeing a delay with just getting fabric right off the bat. So there's a delay in raw materials. Prices have increased.
So is that a cotton shortage, a ginning shortage?
A cotton shortage. I would say a cotton shortage across.
Containers, shipping, unloading, all of it? What is it?
Containers, for one, in California, where we're actually based in Los Angeles, there's been containers that have been backed up for months. So we're, of course, we ship everything once it's sewn in Nicaragua to a port in LA. Actually the Long Beach port, which is about 45 minutes from our Los Angeles facility. And, they're holding containers, and I think they've held containers for months on end. So, of course, it's tough for us to get stuff that aren't being unloaded. So that's one thing. And there's also the cost has increased across the board with containers and shipping and freight. So we've actually put a lot of efforts on the back end to make sure that we can really support the demand. I don't think a lot of people realize we're actually up 40% as a business since 2019. So the demand for our brand has been incredible, and it's been really tough for us to keep up with the demand. So it's, of course, a good situation for us to be in as a business, but I think it's really affected just a lot of the customers that we've brought on in the last year and a half. So we purchased a new warehouse facility that we're opening up at the beginning of 2022 in Maryland. So we'll actually be able to ship to all of our East Coast customers from Maryland. So that's going to be huge. So you don't have to worry about the 4 to 5 day ship from Los Angeles. We've increased the amount of units that we're sewing on a weekly basis. We've increased the amount of units that we're dyeing and cutting on a weekly basis. So we really feel confident that we'll actually be in a really good inventory situation come beginning of Q1 in 2022. And we actually feel very confident that we'll be one of the biggest suppliers that will be in the best inventory situation. So we're really excited, and I think it's really important for customers to know that we understand the back-end operations, and we're always here to explain it and give them insight into just why there are so many delays.
So I'm sure a lot of people say, how long is this going to go on? So what does your magic ball tell you? Crystal ball.
Well, like I mentioned, I think end of Q1, it will definitely be, you can go on to our website, you can go on to all of our distributors' website, and you won't really see any inventory holds with the 3001 black, white, all of our best-selling styles and colors. I don't think really many people know that we have over 150 different styles in our line, so that's a lot of inventory that we have to keep up. So we're getting more strategic with just what we are prioritizing in our production lineup. We've actually implemented a ton of leadership on our production team, especially in our inventory planning. So we're just getting really smart with just the way that we're actually making product, and we're making the right product, because of course before we're having to deal with making 150 different styles that might come in 20 different colors across the board. So I can confidently say beginning of Q2, end of Q1, we'll start to definitely see that shift.
I think that's industry wide, or you think Bella+Canvas is like alone in getting things together by then?
It definitely Bella+Canvas. I think that we've done a really good job at just making sure that we've taken the time to put in the effort on the back end.
Right.
So I would say for us as a company, I think we're going to be the first ones to actually be in a really steady inventory situation.
So do you train your people at all to deal with like the anger that's out there, or have you found that to be true, or do you think that you don't have that problem?
With people being angry?
Yeah.
Oh, we've had a lot of people that have been really angry.
So how do you deal with that? How do you have a lot of people under you. How are you dealing with their stress? And, they may be stressed already, and then they're dealing with stressed customers. Do you have any tricks of the trade, or any kind of trainings that people do, or any ways to, help them get through that?
Well, I think the biggest thing that I mentioned earlier, which I think you agreed with, was it's easier to deliver bad news if your relationships are strong. So I think it's really important. Our industry is built off of relationships. So I think for my team, I always let them know, let your customers get to understand who you are as a person, get to know them as a person, because then you kind of naturally build that bond. So when it comes to you not being able to deliver a program that you've been planning for over the last 3 months, it might make it a little bit easier to deliver bad news, but I think the biggest thing is making exceptions for them as well, understanding that if we're not hitting certain ETAs, they have to deliver to their customer why they're not hitting that ETA for that big program.
Right.
So again,
So you give them basically the knowledge that they can pass on to their customer.
The education of what we're dealing with on the back end and why we weren't able to hit certain timelines. I think the transparency is key, but really educating our customers to then where they can actually educate their customers to deliver that bad news. But definitely relationships, I think. If you're in sales, you have to really be good at building relationships and taking that time to nurture them. And we've had a lot of time over the last year and a half, I would say.
How have you adjusted, you and your people, to basically not be able to call on your customers in person? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, certainly that's, maybe it's getting a little better. It's kind of gone up and down. So what kind of, I'm sure all of us that sell, I sell for my business. What are you doing to facilitate that, because you can't be in person?
So that's actually been
They
one of the...
can't see your cowboy boots. You don't put those up on the Zoom, I don't think.
Should have taken a picture. Should put that on my profile. That's, I think, been one of the biggest challenges for our sales organization is just the lack of face-to-face interaction. Our industry is built off of relationships. When I first started with the company 8 years ago, we were doing 40 to 50 shows a year. So naturally, it's so easy to build those relationships when you're getting to see all of your customers, all of our distributors that carry our products on, I would say, a monthly basis. So it's been tough because our team has really naturally been great at selling in person, and they really had to shift into the atmosphere of selling to customers virtually. And that's really tough as a salesperson, or just, I think, as a business in general, because you really vibe off of the energy that you get when somebody gets to see a new style or feel a new fabric in person. It's really tough for them to actually get that same reaction.
Do you send more samples on and stuff then, because people can't see?
Yes.
Looking, a lot of your fabrics and stuff. Mm-hmm. I would think you have to touch and feel them. So have you had to increase that kind of thing?
Yeah, we actually built an incredible platform for our team to be able to make sure that customers could get really nice customized sample kits. So if we were actually scheduling virtual meetings, which we made it a point that our sales team had to be on video almost every day for our team meetings, for customer meetings, regardless of if the customer was on video, it was really important for our team to actually be on video, because I think when the customer gets to see your face, it just naturally, that's like the first step to building that relationship, is being able to put a face to the name. So we always sent out really nice custom sample kits based on just what the customer was really interested in seeing. And then we also put together really nice presentations for just virtually selling. So if you're actually on video, making sure that you have a really nice presentation to actually walk through the product. Because if you think about it, you don't have a rack. You can't pull product off of a rack and actually let them feel it. And we actually when we first did virtual meetings, we thought that it would work to pull product, like actually show product on video. And we quickly realized that we had to shift and just change the way that we were actually really thinking about it. So, yes, I would say the face-to-face interaction has just been one of the biggest challenges for our team, but we've done a great job at just educating our customers on really how to get back into business and what we're doing on the back end. I mean, we have an incredible YouTube channel. It's our YouTube channel. We launched monthly Bella+Canvas webinars. So it's actually now on our YouTube channel. We post them after each month, and it's called Bella+Canvas Live, and we focus on just how to get back into business during a time when our industry has been down, how to print on all of our different types of products, how to sell fleece. Fleece is really a big focus for us as we go into 2022. It's really one of the best ways that customers can make money. And we have one of the nicest, I would say the nicest fleece fabric in the industry. Wouldn't you have to agree?
No, I don't have to.
You actually can't miss us. We're right in the front when you walk in. I recommend coming in and feeling our fabric in person.
I just had to give you a hard time, that's all.
And we also launched...
It's good practice for those angry customers.
See, I keep my cool.
You did. The hell with you. Come over to my booth, right?
And we also have a fashion apparel masterclass called FAM. I think we have 3 seasons now that we highly recommend to just anyone that's been in the industry for 20 years, anyone that's new to the industry, you get a free shirt.
Right.
You're FAM certified after you take the platform, but we've really been such a hub for just education. We have an incredible marketing team, which you've worked closely with Summer, our VP of marketing. So that's also another great way that we've been able to just continue to connect with our customers.
So any advice for people that are in between you and the end user? Like, what other things can we do during, these difficult times as screen printers and promotional product companies, et cetera?
Well, I think the biggest thing is educating your customers on how they can make money. I think everyone right now is just, how can we stay competitive and how can we grow our business after just this lull of a year and a half?
Right.
And the pandemic really escalated just the need for more premium products. I think casual basics, majority of everyone has been working from home. People have been living in sweatpants and fleece. So why are you laughing?
I was just thinking like The Graduate. I got one word for you. Yeah. Sweatpants.
It's true, though.
Did you ever think, working for a fashion company, that you would be all about sweatpants?
I honestly, no. If you asked me 8 years ago,
That's
no.
what I mean.
But
right? It's not the way any of us thought this was going to go.
I know. Well, and it's funny because fleece 5 years ago was a seasonal item in our industry, and now it's really a year-round piece. And it's just where you can make a great margin. So I think the biggest thing is, as
you guys do protect really well, I must say. So there were some people from Bella+Canvas at the last Long Beach show.
ISS. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're like, really big is tie-dye and sweatsuits.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, really? Like,
we called it, though. Tie-dye has been in.
So I'm just telling you, I was a little skeptical. I drove off to Joshua Tree with my friends.
Love Joshua Tree.
And the first place we stop, there's like 3 fashionable women wearing sweatsuits. We went off to Joshua Tree, Death Valley. We come back, finally Los Angeles. The first 2 women I saw were stylish women wearing sweatsuits. It's like, all right, I'll never doubt their recommendations again.
Thank you. That's a
you
smart
were
man.
Spot on.
But we work direct.
And as go Los Angeles or someplace that's maybe more fashionable, goes the whole country eventually, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think the trends really start in LA and New York and then kind
maybe
of
Miami
trickle inland. And Miami, yeah. I would also say Austin now, too. Austin is actually a pretty fashion-forward city. But yeah, so I think the biggest thing is really being able to educate our customers on what's on trend, what we're coming out with in the next year and a half, so then they can really get ahead of educating their customers. And I don't think a lot of people know this, but we actually just opened up our first retail store in Beverly Hills in January. So we now have a retail location where customers can come in, shop our products, actually get to know who we are behind the brand. And really the whole point of us opening up a retail location was to drive more business to our wholesale channel.
Well, if I could mention, well, they're not the old American Apparel when they had stores.
Mm-hmm.
It was great for screen printers, I thought, because you would go in and see a $50 T-shirt,
right,
and then I'm selling it decorated to them for $9 or whatever, and they're like, "Wow, what a bargain!" So I think the retail shop really does help people that work on a wholesale basis.
Well, and it's the brand recognition. I mean, we've already seen it. We've seen the shift in the last 5 years where customers are willing to pay the extra $1 or $2 for something a little bit nicer.
Do you think online sales help that also, that where the margins are bigger because you're selling a shirt maybe for $15, $20, $25, $30?
No, definitely.
So that you can, you're not pressed so much on the decorating end or the blank end.
Yeah. Well, and I think our retail site, because we actually launched online, I want to say a year before we actually opened up a retail store. So if you go onto our retail website, our 3001, which is our basic best-selling T-shirt that we have in the line, is also on our retail site, and it's priced at about $25. So that really helps you when you're pricing our products to your customers.
And then you were saying, I forget the percentage, but a big increase you were finding in direct-to-garment, sales of your product for direct-to-garment, which must, I would think, be a reflection of online, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, are you able to share what kind of increase that is, like, just so people know?
Yeah, well, I just speaking to our DTG printers, they've doubled just in the last year, especially...
If you're new to the industry, DTG is direct-to-garment.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple machines here, I think an Epson, Brother, I don't know what else, where it prints like you would print a piece of paper,
on
but
a printer
with a textile ink on a shirt.
And you can do it within a matter of a minute, correct? So that's really, I mean, the Amazons of the world, I think, really drove the trend for DTG because a lot of customers are wanting to get things now.
It's also changed where it was a good thing for, full color and stuff, but now it's often virtually indistinguishable from a screen print.
A screen print, yeah.
If you're
you were actually saying that it could now also look like a screen print.
Oh, yeah.
If you're really good at doing it.
If you're good at, like, he's not going to make it, but Jacob Edwards, he was one of the first ones where he was doing direct-to-garment that really
cool.
looked like screen print.
Yeah.
There's also transfers that look like screen prints now. A lot of different ways to decorate for online stores. Yeah,
when I first started 8 years ago, DTG wasn't really as big as it is now. And what I've loved seeing just in the last 8 years is just how our industry has evolved. I think so many of our printers that we work with have gotten so creative, and they've experimented with different techniques, and that's just been really cool to see.
It is wide open. It used to be there would be something that was a rage, like belt printing or something, and then it would go away, and now it just seems like anything goes.
Yeah,
so it's kind of different.
Anything does
Must
go.
be a challenge to make blanks for that industry also, where people want to put transfers on it at a certain temperature. They want to DTG, and it has to pre-treat properly, and we used to have a lot of challenges for that, actually.
I would say we aren't really dealing with those challenges because we've gotten really smart about just the experimental process before actually coming up with a fabric. Right. We have an incredible designer, Tori, which I think you've met him. He's been with the company for almost 15 years, and we've actually brought Tom on board. So you know Tom very well.
Yeah.
Who used to own his own screen print company up in Sacramento. So we actually brought him on board, and he's really helping us just develop making sure that the fabrics that we're actually launching in our line work with a lot of the really more popular techniques in our industry.
It's kind of refreshing. I can't tell you how many shirts over the years that we've had to decorate that weren't made for decoration.
Well, it's funny because our owners,
which makes them nice, often makes them torture to decorate.
Well, our owners started off as screen printers, so they started screen printing almost 30 years ago out of one of their mom's garage. So that's really how they created the business, was making sure that every fabric that we developed was meant to be screen printed and embellished in some sort of way. And that's how most people in our industry start out, is screen printing in their garage. Which has been Basement. Sorry, basement.
No, I just.
Oh, you're saying a basement.
Besides,
okay.
yeah, I was basement.
Basement,
A lot of people
garage.
garage. Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, so we've gotten really strategic with that.
All right. Let's questions. Any questions? How to deal with angry customers or stressed out customers? Or
I have a question for you actually.
Uh-oh.
Being a brand, what do you as a customer really look forward to for just your brand relationships and partnerships in 2022? I mean, what do you expect from the manufacturer? Because I think it's important for us to really hear from our customers just the support that they need.
Well, it's funny you said that you're going to double down on your basic things. I think that we look for that. Like, it's pretty easy to tell someone that they can't have like a pink crop top, but to tell them that there's no black t-shirts or black sweatshirts, they really do want to kill you. And they think you're lying, Yeah. So I think for brands that we use, seeing a supply at least of the basics, that's almost impossible to explain to people why they can't get a gray t-shirt or a navy t-shirt or a black t-shirt. That kind of thing. I'd say we look for that. That's really important. And then I think what you mentioned earlier first, transparency. Actually, so Sanmar, for example, has been really transparent, I think, as well about the challenges. And they've given us you can use their tools to pass it on to the customer. I think that's really helpful. Interestingly enough, people have opted out of email from them, and so they have a lot of people mad that never saw any of the communications about it. So even though they were crystal clear, they never got to the end. And I don't know how to solve that one. But giving us tools to pass on to our customers, I think, is really important. People need to know why this is happening, and then they're a little more understanding. Yeah,
and I think, I mentioned that we do bi-monthly live webinars. I think one of the biggest things that we'll focus on in the future is just supply chain, so you can actually hear from our leadership team on just real more in depth what we've really been experiencing. And you spent a lot of time talking to our president, Chris Blakesley. He's a genius, and
I think it's very hard, actually. So if you're stressed out and you have a lot to do, it's very hard to not just put your head down and grind on and try to make it better. Mm-hmm. But you really do have to take the time to explain to people. Yeah. I mean, I have a new customer and I'm not able to do what I would like to right now. Mm-hmm. There's no help on either end. Normally I might have my rep at the distributor help me find a garment. They're too busy. They're understaffed. They're overworked. They're dealing with stressed out people. A lot of times people used to ask them, oh, can I have 500 black Bella t-shirts? And they'd say fine. And now they might have to say, oh, it's going to come from this warehouse or that warehouse, or it's not coming for a week, or what it is. It's a lot more work for them. So they're stressed out. They can't help. And then I used to ask customers, so I would say, I'm sorry, I just don't have time. Can you look on the website and see what you would like? And they don't have time because they're stressed out and overworked. So there's no give in the system, and you have to explain that to people. I think it's the first time in my life that I can't meet people's expectations to the level that I would like. I just can't do it. And I think a lot of people are in that boat, I don't know, where you just can't do it, right? So, well, I've got to be a little kinder, a little nicer. Doesn't do any good to get mad.
Yeah, I've been yelled at probably the most in the last year that I ever have in my life. Yeah.
Thick skin is needed, right?
But I think in this industry you have to have thick skin.
Yeah, I mean, a couple distributors told me their people are resigning because they can't handle it. People are not nice. They're yelling at them, swearing at them. It's really not necessary. It doesn't get your stuff any faster. Yeah. Right? I mean, if it's on a boat off Long Beach, I can't really see you going down there and unloading the container. You can't do it. It's a system that we can't control.
Right.
And everyone's in the same boat, really. Yeah. No one has a ton of product, right?
Yeah.
At least you're trying, and I think you're clear about how you're trying and the effort you're making. You can't change it overnight, right?
Right. It's definitely not an overnight change, but we're putting in the effort and we're putting in the work to really make sure that we can support the demand that we're going to experience in the next 5 years. I mean, because for us, we're always thinking about the future. And you've seen that in everything that we've done.
No, and I think it's a good model for the rest of us. I mean, on our level of screen, I'm a decorator, so on my level, I got to be prepared for that in terms of how I train people, systems I use. We had an earlier talk that was great with Ryan here, printed threads. Like, we have to have systems that can accommodate things so we can get things done faster.
Yeah.
'Cause it may be with less people, maybe with more challenging stock inventory.
Yeah.
You know, in the past, I could order 20,000 shirts in 5 minutes. It might take 5 hours now. And if that's the case, I need to do it as efficiently as possible.
Yeah.
And I need to partner with people, steer them into brands that are going to do the best job, right? I mean, a lot of people make a decision for a very long time. If you have a store and it's your baby, you know, you don't want to pick a shirt that you can't get. And
Right.
so I have to steer them into shirts that they can get.
Yeah.
Right? Otherwise, they're going to be sadly disappointed. It's going to be a mess. So I think that's also what we need. We need like good information, like you said, transparency, and that you're making an effort. You know,
Yeah.
that all counts for a lot. We can all learn from that. Questions out there? So the question is, there's a lot of challenges. What are some of the positive things that maybe came out of this?
I think the positive thing for Bella+Canvas as a business is just what we've implemented on the back end, operations-wise. Our sales team has never really worked this closely with our production team. I think you can look at really any brand in this industry, and a salesperson probably wouldn't be able to speak to how they manufacture their products, where they get their products from. And that's really not a part of their job description. So that makes sense. But I think for us, just our departments have never been so intertwined. And that, I think, is going to continue to move our brand forward. And really just support, like I was saying, the demand that we're experiencing. We've gotten really strategic with the way that we're going to launch product to the industry. We're really excited for 2022. This is going to be the first year that we are actually launching product that aligns with the retail seasonal calendar. So we'll be launching product twice next year rather than just once at the beginning of the year. So that will really allow our customers to have newness for their customers and also be in line with just what's on trend for that season.
Yeah, I know talking to your CEO also made some production changes that seem like they really will help you going forward. You know, like you said, like you have a warehouse that's close to all your East Coast customers.
Yep.
And things you've done or going to do manufacturing wise, or like, I don't know if I'm supposed to speak of it, but things you did with like your dye houses that where you're helping your partners.
Yeah.
You know, not just beating on them to get things out. Like, you've made changes that make it easier for them to supply you.
Right.
Which are, I think, a good model for all of us as well.
Yeah.
If we can make it easier for the people we work with, they can help us more.
Yeah. And I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but we're also opening up a new cutting facility in Alabama. I don't even know if you knew that.
I did. I didn't know if I was supposed to say.
Well, you know, transparency, you know? So we already have about, I think our cutting facility is 450,000 square feet in LA. We have about 82 cutting machines. And the facility in Alabama is going to just continue to grow. So that allows us to cut.
To give you an idea, a cutting machine goes like from here to the wall. It's like 82 of them is mind-boggling.
I want to see, they're 20 feet long. Maybe some are even longer. But we use automated cutting technology, which is really the most advanced cutting technology in the world. Our Gerber cutting machines, which you can actually see YouTube videos where it actually takes you through a cutting process. It's pretty incredible. And if you actually come to our LA facility, you can actually walk the floor and see how things are being cut.
It's pretty impressive how little waste there is now, too.
Yeah.
That the programs will fit the pieces to the fabric so that there's so little waste.
Yeah, so what's really incredible just about the machine is it's guided by a laser cut with a really sharp blade, and everything is automated. So most of the time, back in the day, you would have patterns cut out that you would have to trace, and that wastes a ton of paper. So everything's implemented into a computer system, and it's
you don't chop your fingers off.
We don't chop. No, we don't cut by hand, which that's a thing that most people think is in the past, but there still are brands that still cut by hand. So for us, having that automated just allows us to be so efficient, and our owners are really smart when it comes to just efficiency. So.
Well, if I can mention stuff. So also what I was alluding to before was that you have a warehouse for your die houses. So so they have more room for die machines.
Yes.
Because they don't have to hold your product. I thought that was very innovative.
Yes. Sorry. Our die house is actually located not in our Commerce location. It's about 40 minutes east. And we work with an incredible partner that does all of our dyeing. We actually use newer, more efficient dye machines that use 7 times less water than the average clothing manufacturer. So we're saving about 20 million gallons of water a week. I don't know if you knew this about us, but we have a very strong eco-friendly mindset. We recycle all of our excess fabrics. So what isn't being made into a tee is recycled daily, and it's repurposed into bags, bibs, socks, you name it. But our dye house is pretty incredible, actually, just the way that they develop color.
But basically, Chris was saying that the warehouse that you're funding allows them to have more room now in their facility, so they can expand their dye machine, so they can get more done.
Which then also helps.
Instead of beating on them to get more out, you're actually helping them with part of your system to make things easier, which I think is a good model for all of us as well.
Which that's actually new for us too.
Anything we can do to help people down the chain, you know?
Yeah. No, definitely.
Other questions? All right. Well, I want to thank Carissa for being here, and thank you all for coming. Thanks to the sponsors again: Impressions Show, InKitchen.com, podcast, Low Bleed, Hanes, Hirsch Solutions. There's a whole schedule of talks. A lot of really great speakers like Carissa here, and I hope to see you again. Thanks.
Thank you.